Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nancy and Nicole Real Life, Real Talk. Today, we are talking about the power of showing up. Hey,
Yes,
what
we
happens
are.
when you do, what happens when you don't, and what does it mean to really show up? So there's different versions of being in the room and showing up.
Absolutely. You have had some very specific experiences with this just in the last couple weeks, my friend. Do you want to talk about some of why this is so front and present center for you right now?
Absolutely. Of course I do. So I'll talk big picture. In my life, I am a nervous shower upper. I'm an introvert. I tend to get overwhelmed. I famously call it faking an injury, where I say I'm going to do something. I'm like, I have like this thing that came up.
Yeah.
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Because I'm shy and I get nervous and weird and all the things. But what I found is nothing bad happens if I don't show up, but all the magic happens when I do. Case in point, my mom passed away last week, and it was a complicated relationship. My mom, actually, I was able to see at the end, she was a great, beautiful, loving person. The delivery rarely came across that way, hence the complicated relationship. So we went for many, many years in my life, her life, where we didn't communicate on a regular basis, if
Mm.
at all. If we did, it was tense, all the things. And there are many versions of our story where I would not have shown up in the end, quite honestly, for various reasons. But I did choose to show up in the end. And the gifts that came from that were so many. I was really able to see I'll say the true her, the version of her that she really was in her heart before she had all the hurts and her own things happen in life that caused her to interact with people the way she did in such a difficult manner. And I did have a lot of moments I thought, well, maybe I was too hard on her. And then a memory would pop up. I'm like, oh no, there's a reason things were the way they were. But again, I could just, in the end, all I felt was love and some sadness for things being the way they were. But I really was able to get to a place of love. And like I said, there were many moments in my life where I can't say that I thought I would have gotten there. And so being able to show up for her physically and emotionally, just to allow myself to get to that space felt really good. We were all with her at the end, meaning myself, my sister, and our brother. The three of us were there with her. And she knew, she could tell, right? She really couldn't move, but her eyes were tracking, and we knew that she saw us. I think that was a gift to her, but it was absolutely a gift to us that I will always treasure.
Mm, it's so powerful.
Yeah. So I feel very lucky, the power of showing up. Like none of those gifts would have happened. Even if I had maybe had the realization of, okay, well, she had some stuff happen that made her the way she was. There's something special about having been there and sitting
Absolutely.
in that moment of life.
So Nicole, I'm curious. I mean, I know a little, obviously know a little of the some of the backstory as well, but like what was it for you that I mean, you had a lot of options. A, you could have not physically been there
Hmm.
at all. You could have sort of done it from a very perfunctory, okay, I showed up, I was in the room, but you actually chose the harder place, the bigger leap from how that relationship has been, which was really to authentically show up.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, how did you get there? And not just do the sort of either not showing up or the perfunctory going through the steps, but being pretty checked out.
Yeah, you know what? It's a really good question. And I don't know that I know the answer. She was in hospice for probably 6 weeks. And it took me a little bit to show up, even when she went into hospice. And
Yeah.
it's interesting because I spent a lifetime not communicating with my mom. And so I'm there. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm here. I don't know what to do. I don't know. There was just some awareness that happened someday. And I can't even say that there was a specific like trigger moment or something. But I was just like, I see it now. Yeah.
I actually do have an idea about why you did.
Okay. Let's hear it.
It wasn't a leading question when I asked it, but after I
What is?
answering it, I was having a little flashback of us sitting in these very spaces a couple weeks ago.
Hmm.
Obviously, we missed last week because you were dealing with stuff with your mom's passing. But the episode before that was a very vulnerable, raw one where
Uh,
you
yeah.
were really showing up in a big way about vulnerability. So
Yeah.
I would like to hypothesize, and we don't have to spend more time diving down this for right now, but I think your showing up the way you did for your mom had way more to do with just this shift and personal work that you've been doing in your life in general that is really culminating in this side of you, this part of you that is just leaning into giving that gift to yourself. I mean, as much as it is a gift to your mom, obviously, and to your sister and brother
Yeah.
and all of that, it really is you are doing this for you and you are doing it kind of across the board in your life, which is full of big brave steps. And I think that maybe has something to do with.
I think you're 100% right. I mean, this whole personal development thing is it's been a focus of mine for quite some time. So yay me, it's actually working. So yeah,
Yeah.
and it's been great. I mean, I've had some really good conversations with my sister of, compassion and forgiveness can happen while still acknowledging some of it was kind of ugh, compassion and forgiveness. It kind like I can understand it differently now. And
Mm,
one of the conversations I was having with my sister, because I've spent a lot of my life trying to not be my mom.
yeah.
Spoiler alert, so many things I do are from my mom. Shoot, every time I turn around, I'm like, yeah, my mom did that. I mean, I'm baking cookies for Ryan when they're in season. I bake him cookies every week
Yeah.
because that's how I show him love. My mom baked to show me love. Like, I just figured that out last week. But now it feels like a beautiful honoring. And when my sister and I, I was saying I always want to do things different than her, but now I want to do them different to honor her,
Mm,
meaning she wanted to do different, better than her parents did. And I think she did. She was better
yeah.
than her parents and will do better than her because that's what she wanted, right? So we're honoring her by continuing to up level the way we show love and affection to
Mm,
our family. So that feels really good to do something to honor her versus in spite of her. Kind of same thing, but a different approach. Very different energy.
totally different energy.
Yeah. So showing up. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
all
Well,
about.
every day there's opportunities and choice points for us about how we show up. I mean, obviously, with somebody at the end of their life, that's a big platform for you to show up and choose whatever, however you're going to show up in that way. But it can be as small as, when you're on the phone with somebody, are you multitasking?
Which
Are
we all
you
do, myself included.
Are you, like, scrolling social media or writing an email or doing the dishes? So, it can be as small as what are you doing when you're on the phone talking to somebody?
Mhm.
It can be how is it when you meet somebody in person? And do you meet somebody in person? There's the showing up, the physical part of it. Do you show up for the thing that you said you were gonna show up for? Or as you were saying, faking the injury, you know, I said I was gonna go, I don't really wanna go, so I don't.
Right.
And then there's the showing up again for a social event or other things where it feels kind of performative, like I'm doing it sort of so I can check the box of I did this thing. And then there's that, I think, a different level of emotional presence that feels just different. And no judgment, I don't think, for necessarily which of those, but just being intentional about which of those, how it is you're showing up.
I think there is judgment. I have judgment. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Well, I don't necessarily mean, can I correct what I think I meant by that when I said no judgment? Like,
Sure.
if you if the best you can do is go show up, even if it's slightly perfunctory, because it matters enough the relationship matters enough that I want to at least come to your party because I know it matters to you, but I am not feeling it about being really there. Being there in a perfunctory way feels a step above canceling on you.
This is true. I think we're covering a lot of different things. We're talking about
I
at
know.
a party or a conversation or we're at a
Or
meeting.
our relationships.
Yes.
Let's bring it down. What part of showing up, when you said, let's talk about the power of showing up, what were you thinking?
Showing up and connecting. So
Okay.
whether that is at, we'll say a work function or let's say in a relationship, let's say you come home and you were excited to tell Leah something and she's like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And she's looking at her phone on social media the whole time. Are you not going to judge that? I don't know. I'm putting with you. I would judgment about that. Um,
Yeah.
so relationship wise, yes, I equate there's 4 levels of showing up. The first is like, are you even in the room? Or did you fake an injury and you're not there? So option 1 is you're not even physically there. Option number 2 is you're there physically, and that's pretty much it. Meaning you're checked out, you're not listening, you might even be scrolling your phone, whatever. So that's option 2. Physical there, that's it. Number 3 is you are physically there and maybe listening. So a little bit
See?
better, right? Like sort of, yeah. You heard some words, maybe it's going to stay, maybe not. And then option number 4 is you are fully engaged. You're listening, you're responding, you're communicating, you're present. So 4 very different levels of
I get that.
showing up. And they apply to all scenarios, right? Like you said, yeah, a party, sometimes you're just there to support your friend and, you're a little bit whatever. But those are the very 4 different, and, in options 1, 2, and 3, the not physically there, the physically there, but that's it. And like, if you're in one of those 3, it's fascinating because, at least for me, like nothing bad happens necessarily, but all the good is in option number 4 when you're fully engaged and present and part of the conversation.
So, because the theme of our podcast is what are the stories we tell ourselves? What do you think some of the stories are that you tell yourself that either puts you into one of those 4
Mhm.
levels of showing up?
If I'm in, we'll say option number 4 is the like all in, right?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3. If I'm in option 1, 2, or 3, there's usually some sense of self-worth or insecurity
Mm,
going on, or safety. I mean, I'll be honest, there's a lot I didn't share with my mom because she was really judgy. And so you never knew, but you never quite knew what she was going to judge. So I was always a little afraid to put stuff out because you never knew what was coming back. It
right.
wasn't super safe. And that's usually more in personal relationships. But even then, in business and other things, whether you call it comparison monster or insecurity or unworthiness, the stories in my head usually fell into one of those of like, I don't have anything to offer. What am I doing here
Yeah.
kind of thing. I'll just bail so I don't feel awkward. Yeah. How about you?
Oh, I always show up 100% all the time. Okay. I can't
Okay.
even say
We
that with
have
a
a phrase in our house called bullshit the fans, not the players. Feels like that. It was appropriate. And I love you very much.
I couldn't even say it with a straight face. I tried. I tried. No, I think I don't show up nearly as much as that fully engaged person as I would like to think I am. I think it's spotty. I think there are safer relationships where I'm willing to do that because the risk is less.
Yeah.
I think the uh, call for emotional intimacy of being fully present in what you are showing up as and hoping that other person responds in kind is scary. And I
100%.
think I tell myself a lot of stories that I don't think the other person's going to show up that way. So I'm not going to. Like, I really want to. I have the skills. I'm completely ready. But they're not going there first, or I just don't think they're going to go there. So I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
I'll
doing it.
bail on you before you bail on me.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure I have some track record of that in my life. So I think that is probably a bigger one. I totally agree with you, Nicole, that the payoff, so to speak, is to show up fully engaged and authentic. Like,
Mhm.
that's the win.
Right.
It's the win for how you are aligned with your core self and how, in true tuning fork fashion, how that elicits and resonates with somebody else so that they can show up in that same way.
Yeah.
And I think for myself, and maybe other people will resonate with this, is that I spend less of my time in that sweet spot of presence than I like to think I do.
Mhm.
I think I have a lot of justification, as I was saying. Like, I think some of it is, it feels vulnerable and that feels scary to me. So I'm not going first. And if you're not going to go, then I'm not. Or that I think energetically, like, I'm tired. And somehow I think showing up, maybe being vulnerable, will feel exhausting
Mhm.
rather than actually filling my cup
Yes.
when it's really just fear.
Yeah.
But I justify it as I'm tired.
Yeah. I think I do the same thing.
I'm finding myself more challenged in this conversation than I thought I was going to be because as we're having the conversation, the stories in my head are running circles around me of justifying and saying, "Oh, but this is true, but oh, that is true." And I'm like, wow, I'm just like, if I could just open it up and you guys could all hear all the cacophony in my head at the same time, you'd say, wow, with all that going on inside her head, she's actually being fairly articulate and putting her sentences together. It's a cacophony. I love that word, cacophony. But I do think that's sort of how the stories in our heads show up. It's kind of kicking me in the
I'm
butt, this
fascinating.
conversation. I know.
Yeah.
I'm a little uncomfortable with myself in this moment. Okay, I'm going to come really clean. So, because, I've been talking about this authenticity stuff for the last couple years and exploring that and what that means, which is really about showing up from a authentic place inside of you, sort of not the four versions of yourself that we've talked about before, and really coming back to that unchanging you. And I find myself having to check myself all the time about what feels performative.
Mm. Yeah.
Like when you are on public stages, there is a part of that sharing that
Yeah.
is a performance. There is, as a thought leader and ugh, I hate the word content creator, but somebody who's sharing things you're thinking
Yeah.
about, there's a hopefully slightly polished, at least thoughtful, I've thought about this before I open my mouth kind of
Mhm.
presence. We all know is not how I function. And I'm so conscientious about when does that slide into feeling performative
Mhm.
versus really just being me and my
Yep.
dumbass self. And if that's rambling, that's rambling. And if I'm an external thinker and it makes everybody nuts in my life who has to tolerate the four sentences that never went anywhere and everyone's wondering what is she talking about and where is she going? Like sometimes that is just
You get what you get.
you get what you Uh, and I think that for me, again, the underlying story piece is wanting to feel like I'm engaged and authentic, and I get tripped up by wanting people to like me.
We all want people to like us.
Yeah.
That's a natural human emotion, I think.
I want to outgrow it though.
We're wired for community. To be in community, it helps if people like you. I guess it doesn't have to happen, but kind of nice if you got a friend or two along the way. So what do you think as we look at our what we thought was going to be a super straightforward conversation, and
I
it's not even a
know.
little bit. What do you want
I
to leave people with?
what do I want to leave people with? Just know sometimes when you feel really clear at the beginning of a conversation, you do not know where your brain is going to take you, and you just have to trust yourself and follow it. And sometimes it's messy and inarticulate, and um, to have kindness for yourself.
And still filled with nuggets of gold, which is the essence of showing up. Nailed it.
Boom! Thank you, Nicole, for bringing some through line for this one for us.
Happy to help.
And what do you want people?
The same, like actually so perfect. The power of showing up, willing to have a conversation and be vulnerable. And there's anytime I do that, there's always some aha, something that happens. It's like, didn't see that coming, but I'm so glad I showed up for that. Whether it's a conversation with somebody I know or I meet a new person that's what it's all about. Show up and be present and be entertained by what happened because it's awesome.
Glad you're feeling that in this moment.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming
Everybody,
along for the ride, gang.
what does
Like,
showing up mean to you, our listeners? That's what I want to know. What does showing
yeah,
up mean to you and what are some of the magic moments that have happened because you showed up?
absolutely. All right. See y'all on the flip side.
Bye.